All right, so we're going to try this again because seriously, it's not anything. Actually, Holy Gully got a phone call in the middle of our last one. So welcome back. So what were we talking about when we were so rudely interrupted?
I don't remember, but I do have something else.
Yeah?
There was the... Oh, wait, I remember. We talked about, like, the critical path and the open world things. One of the things they mentioned, but they didn't go into detail, is that in Saints Row 3, you could buy a whole bunch of shops, and basically you'd walk into it, and if you had the money, you'd press Y and you'd buy it, and then that kind of increase your cash flow every 20 minutes. They said that you're not doing that this time. You still buy stores, but you do it in a way that's more gameplay-centric. You're not just going in and pressing a button. You're doing more. So in terms of, like, side path and side quest variety, there's that. I don't know exactly what you're going to be doing, but it's going to be more than pushing one button.
And yeah, they were actually specifically very cryptic about how that's going to happen.
Well, like they said, because you're president of the United States, you're not expanding the reach of the Saints anymore. But when you're in the virtual world, you're still going to be buying shops and, increasing your rev and doing things to take over the city, but you're not necessarily taking it over. You're rebelling against the aliens' control because this is the AR. Yeah, because this is the virtual reality of the alien zone. So you're still going to go in that path of, even though you're president of the United States, you're still going to start small and get bigger.
Let's see. Another thing is a patch modification. Oh, the voices. Which gun?
The gun skins.
Oh, right. The patch. We're going to have gun skins. Yeah. There's before we had upgrades of weapons. Now it's going to also be included with customizing of weapons.
Yeah, you can just kind of change their appearance, which is kind of nice because you're showing a rocket launcher, and at one point it looked like a real sleek, modern, futuristic rocket launcher, and then the next skin was a guitar case.
Right. Actually, the guitar case was really cool.
It was awesome.
He didn't really mention, and I meant to ask about, will any of the modifications of or customizations of the weapons actually change the gameplay, or is it just skins?
No, it was just skins.
Okay.
Yeah, he said that it works just the same. And, I kind of like that, because it adds ridiculous of it. You could walk around with an explosive guitar case.
Or explosive dildo. I predict explosive dildo.
I think you're right.
And it's going to shoot white. I predict right now explosive rocket launcher dildo that shoots white. The snow blower. It will shoot snow.
Should we ask Kelly Brown if it's going to be cold?
If you've been listening to the show, you'll know what we mean. Okay, so
you talked about
what?
Before you said something before.
Patch modification on voices. Some of the voices are coming back, some are not. He pretty much said zombie voice is gone because the funny of the zombie was that it was unexpected. But if we, once it's expected, it's not quite so funny.
But if you also take that, the implication is that maybe there's another funny voice.
Right. Expect the unexpected is what he's pretty much saying when it comes to the voices. But Cockney will return. Cockney's returning.
Yes, it is. And I just love the fact that they have a variety of voices. That's still going to be really cool.
But this time they're going to have pitch shifting as well.
Yeah, that's right. And so like he said, you could either be the guy from Delocated, you could have, real low voice, it could be really high like helium. Yeah. Which seems like a real natural it's like, yeah, why not?
It would seem a whole lot more fun in co-op because you really don't know what your sound friend's going to sound like until you get in there.
That could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
Just playing with the pitch and the different voices and a little customization, things like that is kind of fun. Although there's one thing that really I was not happy with.
What?
They stole Nick's word. Nick's word of the weekend. Verticality.
That's my word of the weekend?
That's all you've been talking about is verticality. And this guy stole your word. Remember back at the hotel you were talking about that game? It's all about the verticality.
Oh yeah, that's not my word of the week. Other people have said that.
I've never heard that word in my life. I just looked it up on the internet to see what it meant, and then this guy goes and takes your word, the word that I give you credit for.
I would love to take credit for that word. I did not hear that word anywhere else in any other pitch meetings.
Whenever I hear verticality, I can't even say it because it's so new. Okay, I'm going to think of the gray block. I'm not going to think of that guy in that room who designs video games for a living. Is probably much more famous than you. I'm going to think of you.
I did invent it. That is completely my creation. I'm going to copyright it soon. Patent is pending. I'm going to get patented, trademarked, and
Do
copyrighted.
you think he maybe listened to our previous show and snuck that in?
No, verticality is a word.
I know that I invented.
Okay, you invented it, true. But
Yes.
it's right. It's,
You
And
might
I-
have not
and
invented
I'm gonna-
it, but you definitely brought it to the next level.
Yes. And because that word is so associated with me, I'm going to make sure it's protected, like the windows,
right.
because I don't want people just using verticality
Willy-nilly.
Yeah.
You got to protect your copyright.
I know.
Yeah, you don't want to see these guys going down the street going, yo, verticality, yo.
I know that's just
You
gonna,
know-
that's going to reflect bad on me.
You know?
All right. Day one DLC definitely going to happen. That was one of the answers that they had. So expect to be buying or at least getting
I guess that's
DLC.
not surprising because that doesn't necessarily mean that there's like an expansion coming. It just means that there's like DLC.
There's going to be a
guns.
code, right? Or there's going to be a code that comes with the game,
Yeah, online pass.
Did you know what I thought they
or a online pass that entitles you to the DLC. So that's the
Yeah.
that's the benefit of buying the game now.
What I actually thought, after he talked about all the funny stuff in the game and how he says, oh, we figured we needed a mech, we brought in a mech. We figured we needed a blow-up gun. So after he said all the stuff that we brought in that we thought would be funny, when he started talking about day one DLC, I seriously did. I thought he was talking about they're going to have DLC before the game comes out as a joke. So it's like, hey, here's the DLC for Saints Row 4. The game's not even out yet. Did anybody else? Did anybody else get that feeling, or was I just reading it wrong?
I
think
did
you-
not.
but you know what?
That is an awesome read.
I wouldn't put it past them.
No, that's
Yeah, as part of the whole gimmick of it, of just this being a really weird game, to come out with DLC before the game's even out.
Yeah.
All right, next item that they said is good. We're still recording. So far, so good. DLC day one co-op is the same drop in, drop out.
That's fine.
And I
That's
like
almost
that.
the norm now, isn't it? The drop in, drop out co-op.
Yeah.
That almost like, almost have to have that for co-op.
Well, what's interesting is one of the people asked a question about achievements and like are there going to be co-op achievements? Because multiplayer achievements usually suck. As someone who loves
Yes, they do.
achievements, but he was talking about how there weren't any like that in Saints Row 3 because the co-op was locked behind an online pass, and that's something Microsoft prevents. Achievements being locked behind an online pass.
Which I actually like that. I don't feel
like
as
the
though
idea. But the fact that he was like wavering over it, like, oh, maybe there will be co-op achievements, maybe they're not. I wonder if that will mean that co-op is not locked behind an online pass. Maybe the online pass will just unlock something special, but it won't necessarily unlock co-op. That co-op will be available for everyone.
Oh, I wish I'd have picked up on that. That would have been an excellent question.
Well, that's a total business question they would not actually answer.
Right. Or maybe that or Microsoft has changed their ways and decided that it's okay to put some achievements behind a season pass.
Well, considering that Microsoft and this whole Xbox Durango 720 is talking about maybe not even playing used games, maybe they are leaning towards, maybe getting rid of these online passes because you won't be able to play anything but new games anyway.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. I'm just getting all verticality with it.
Hey, I could sue you for that.
All right.
You will. You must.
But I used it as a noun.
Pronoun trouble.
Case.
Next item was that the death tag is going to return. The death tag from Saints Row 2.
Oh, the mode. The
Right,
co-op mode.
the co-op mode death tag. But now it's going to be superpowered death tag.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know what Death Tag was because I hadn't played Saints Row 2, but apparently it's tag with your friends and you just kill each other.
Right.
It's Death Tag.
Right. Same, and because this is going to be, for the most part, it seems like the bulk of the game is being played in this virtual reality evil Steelport, that the same maps are going to be used pretty much from Saints Row 3 or Saints Row the Third as Saints Row 4. However, there's going to be added the verticality of it. I actually wrote it. She did write. He did say added verticality, but so it's going to be a bigger map. Technically, even though the footprint
Because of the verticality.
right, because you're going to be going up as opposed to out.
This is recorded. I'm going to use this in court.
They were kind of odd about when somebody mentioned Johnny Gat, if Johnny Gat is going to return. They said, yeah, we really love Johnny Gat, and, quote, we'll have to just see what happens.
I don't know why people like him because I only played Saints Row 3 and he kind of died at the beginning of Saints Row 3.
Yeah.
That's not a spoiler. It's like the first 5 minutes. But I guess he's a popular character. I like the avatar head of him I have for my Xbox avatar.
Yeah. And you will not be playing exclusively in this virtual reality world or in Steelport. That was actually kind of something that was interesting because they made a big deal about this being this virtual reality Steelport, but like Saints Row the Third, you actually had these other places that you kind of went to as part of the story, the scope of the story. You know, to Mars and to into this virtual world in the Saints Row 3. He said that this time in these other kind of different scope of the story kind of things, that you are going to have to go rescue your friends, the friends that you have in your gang. I'm assuming these are the same friends from Saints Row 3. That you're going to have to go into their virtual reality because they've of course also been kidnapped, so they're in their own VR worlds, but they're going to be different than your VR world. So you're going to have to kind of go into their own personal hells. Which is going to give you a little bit of a psychological insight of what makes your friends tick.
And that'll be cool, because the characters were wacky, but so lovable.
Yeah, and on top of it, Steve Silver has no problem really making... In fact, I think that was some of the funniest parts about Saints Row the Third, is when you went to these departure areas, like the Martian thing. The bad Martian movie.
Yeah.
Freaking hilarious.
The virtual world, what was it? Decker's Die mission. Yeah.
Oh, I loved the virtual world part of it. So I think that was where sometimes they got the most creative. That was my favorite part, that it took you out of this city that you spent a lot of time grinding away in, and then gives you somewhere else that's really, really fun to be. And then, of course, it kind of cleanses your palate, so to speak, to go back to the Freeport world, or the Steelport world.
Yeah.
Just if one final thought I have about it before we close out the Saints Row 4 discussion. Did you guys get the feeling that there was one main presenter, then a couple of devs up there talking about the game? Did you get the feeling that they were real excited to show us what they did, and that they were bubbling inside what they couldn't show us?
Yes. Absolutely got that they really, really, really,
It's
really
like
wanted to talk about it.
They wanted to tell us the secret. They really wanted to, it's like, boy, I got this great gift for you for your birthday, and you're going to love it, and I wish I could tell you what it is. But
your birthday is a year from now, and I have to find a way to keep it in.
When does that do?
It's coming out soon.
Couple
months.
Yeah, it's a couple
so
months.
your birthday is next month.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I think it's August.
Is it?
I'm pulling that halfway out of my ass.
Yeah, we're going to have to check the verticality of that statement.
Willful infringement.
But yeah, they seem to be really excited. They seem to love showing what they showed us. You could tell they were squirming and they were biting their lip not to tell us anymore. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. That's probably got to be. I've only been here half a day, but aside from a couple of smaller titles out there on the floor, yeah, that's one that's got my attention. And for someone, it must be something about as the series get better, because I didn't like Gears early on. I didn't like Crackdown early on. I didn't like, what's that other game that I played part 2 with part 3 that I really, really liked? Oh, I forget which game it was, but it seemed like I
can't think of anything else.
Yeah,
we just talked about one recently where you really liked 2, but you didn't like 1.
Yeah, it seemed like I catch on late. Maybe it's like I say, maybe I wasn't in the mood, air quotes, mood for that particular game at that particular time. But this one, this one looked really neat. And I'm not big into the superpower type of thing. I don't like those games, those X-Men type of games where you get all these powers. But the way they handled it, with the fast running down the street and just throwing the guy in the air and throwing him down the street, it looked fairly simple.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the great things about, at least, it looked, like they said, it's like a gun, and I think a lot of ways it kind of looked like a gun. It's just something that you left trigger aims, right trigger shoots.
Yeah, I think they even said that they wanted to make it quite simple, that these things were not difficult to use at all. Which, again, someone like me go, oh my gosh, yeah, I'll never use this, I'll never figure it out. But he said it was pretty simple, like shooting a gun.
Yeah, and that's what made Crackdown work. is that they didn't make all of these things, these combos behind very difficult, button mashing. It was pretty easy, and I can't believe how much that looked like Crackdown. Flat out, just straight up Crackdown.
I grabbed your notepad and I went to write down Crackdown, and you already had it written down.
Yeah.
I made an arrow and said, yes. Crackdown.
See, it's weird to me that you say it looked like Crackdown, because I've never played Crackdown, but I played Prototype, and the way that he opened his arms and glided a long ways, that animation.
That's Crackdown.
See, that's weird, because that animation is straight out of Prototype too. But actually, that's kind of cool, because they're learning from other superhero-esque games.
Yes,
and
exactly.
I think
they took the best of those superhero power-esque games and brought them all into the one.
It's just a great, the whole iterative design of video games. Hey, that person did something cool, let's do something similar.
Well, you're seeing a lot of that now in games in general. I think I talked about this on the show not that long ago, was you're seeing games that were very different. Now,
awesome.
Really nice
Sorry, some very awesome cosplay. Oh my God, that is so awesome. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I gotta get pictures. The wife told me to get some pictures, so I'm gonna take some pictures.
So,
but it just seems like the games in general are kind of falling into the same mold. Like I said, everybody's taking the best of everybody else's game, and at some point, you're pulling some of your own game back from someone else's stole. So you're starting to see this mold of games take place where, hey, this is what's working, this is what people like, and so everybody's kind of, like you say, this game was Crackdown, this game was Prototype. Well, you're seeing a lot of games like that now.
Yeah, like Remember Me's combat looks like Batman.
Yeah, so you're seeing a lot of games, which I think is great, because not that you want every game the same, but if everything has the same feel and the same play,
you're not reinventing the wheel and making a square one every single time.
No, exactly. It's what you're doing is you're taking the best and say, look, we want more of this with our spin on it, but no sense getting all crazy and doing something that people don't like. It's like, okay, you like the drop-in, drop-out co-op? Bam, you got it,
Anyway, we should get going because we need to get down to the floor. There's a game that we want to play that looks really freaking awesome. Outlast. We're going to go play that, and we will chat at you later about that. So, Saints Row, if you have any questions. Oh, we have somebody that asked us a question. Spreaker needs some form of auto-loading. I missed 3 casts listening to the morning review. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, sorry about that. We're still learning. Hey, Blackster Void, he also is in our chat. And just in time for us to leave, because we have to go down because we only have 15 minutes to go down and be in line so that we can
go back and listen to the Saints Row stuff that we did. We had a couple of crashes. We didn't know that we're doing this on our iPhones, that if somebody calls, it basically ends the Spreaker broadcast. So, if you're listening, we're going to be signing off in a second. But go back and listen to the stuff we talked about at Saints Row 4. We just saw it. We were the second group in to see the video for it and the Q&A. It's real good.
And if you have any questions about what Saints Row, to actually ask the developers, we are going back tomorrow morning, first thing. We are going to get about 5 minutes with the developers to ask them any questions we want. So here's the deal. If you have a question about Saints Row 4, about what's coming up, if they can answer it, make sure to email us at gamehounds@gmail.com. I'm going to check that email tonight. I'm going to write down all the questions that you have, and I will ask the developers tomorrow morning, and I will make an announcement on the Spreaker feed when we're going in so that you guys know, so you can listen in.
On Twitter, anything on Twitter, Gamehounds or Gamer Goalie, get everything up on Twitter, even Spreaker. I think you can post on our wall or whatever. So anything you want to do, get a hold of us. All right, we're out.
All right, talk to you guys later. Night, Blackster Void. Oh, heading to work. You're going to listen later? Awesome. And AC Wraith, we'll talk to you later too, and all the rest of you. Bye.